Hey Joe, how you doing? This is Mike Kearney from MassRealEstate.net, and you are?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
I'm fine. This is Joe
Good.
Varnadore from Note School, who's coming to speak to us next Tuesday, the 30th, and inform us about buying and selling notes for a profit, which means there's no tenants, trash, and toilets.
Yeah, we found that it's much better to be the bank than it is to be the landlord, Mike. Banks figured it out a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you get this system down. I spoke to Gary, who said you went out there, and there's a whole bunch of people now in his group after your training that are doing these notes.
Yes, absolutely.
Good.
Very
Got a couple of
convenient.
quick questions for you.
What's that?
I've got a couple of quick questions for you.
Very good. Let's get started.
Good. Hey, what is a note anyway?
Mike, most people think that when we talk about real estate notes, they really don't understand what we're talking about. And everybody has been dealing with notes. Anybody that's bought a piece of real estate and they've financed it through a lender has signed a promissory note. Now, understand that when you go to closing, you sign a lot of paperwork. But the most important piece of paper that you sign for the lender is the promissory note, the real estate note. It has the terms of the deal, the number of years you're going to pay the loan back. It has the interest rate. Is it a balloon note? The payment amount, and any other special things like there's a new note balloon or anything like that. So that's what contains all of the information. And just remember that when you borrow the money to buy the property, you as the borrower gets the deed to the property, and the lender, what they get is that promissory note, that promise to pay. And I
Is
always
there
kind
more
of,
than one type of note?
well, let me just say this, just understand that if you go out and you bought a car tomorrow and you finance that car, you wouldn't get the deed until you paid it off. When you've got a real estate note, you have, you get the deed to the property. And Michael, there's a couple of types of notes that we work with. There are notes that are performing notes, which means that the borrower is simply making the payments every month, and then there are non-performing notes, which means that the borrower isn't making the payments. And what we've found in the industry is that we know there's about 9 million non-performing notes, and there's only about 300,000 REO properties. So there's a lot of non-performing notes out in the system.
So what's a non-performing note, and why would I want one?
Well, a non-performing note simply means, Mike, that the borrower has stopped making their payments to the lender. And when the lender, when you stop making your payments as the borrower, the lender's going to, well, they're going to send you a letter, a demand letter, and the things they're going to want, they're going to offer you is either to modify the loan for you, get a deed of foreclosure, or have to foreclose on the property. So
Hmm.
what we've found and what's happened, the phenomenon that's happened over the last 3.5 years is there are so many non-performing notes that the lenders are not foreclosing any longer on the lower price band properties, the properties that are worth less than $150,000 or so. And what they're doing is they're putting those into large pools or packages and selling those off to the hedge funds. And
Hmm.
then what we do at Note School is we teach folks how to go out and deal with the hedge funds and buy one-off assets directly from the hedge fund. And this is the great part, Mike. We're buying those assets at 20 to 40% of current value. So
Nice.
that's the exciting part of working with non-performing notes.
Hmm. How about performing notes?
There's a lot of performing notes out there, and there are also reperforming notes where the hedge funds are buying pools of loans. And by the way, Mike, it's not just the banks that are selling these non-performing loans. You've got HUD, you've got Fannie and Freddie, you've got FHA. HUD alone sold almost 30,000 non-performing loans in June alone. Um, PNC just sold about $700 million worth of non-performing loans. We know there's about 9 million. On the performing side, a performing note simply means that the borrower is paying on those as agreed, and we're able to buy the performing notes at anywhere from 60 to 80 cents on the dollar, and then we're able to buy the non-performing notes at somewhere between 20 to 40% of value.
What's the difference between buying the note versus buying the property?
Well, that's a great question, Mike. And when we're buying the note, we're actually backing in to getting to the property. So we know that you can go out and you can buy a property, and you're going to pay right now, you're going to pay 80 to 90% of value. Hard to make money when you're paying 80 to 90% of what the property's worth. If we buy the note, we know there's only three things that can happen. Number one, you buy the note, the borrower still lives in the property, and we can modify that. And then we have a reperforming note that we can enjoy the cash flow on. If the borrower has moved on, we're going to get a deed in lieu of foreclosure from the borrower, and then we'll get the property. And then if we have to foreclose, we'll get the property as well. So it's kind of backing in to getting the property. But the great thing is that we're able to buy these assets, like I said, at about 20 to 40% of current value.
And how can I, as an investor, benefit from the seller financing performing notes? I mean, where's the opportunity?
Well, the opportunity there, simply this. We know at Note School that about 45% of the people that go and apply for a new loan are going to get rejected. I was talking to a mortgage broker the other day, and they said the average credit score on a turn down in 2013 was 722. So it wasn't so much credit, it was more the debt to income ratio. That's a huge number. So the opportunity is that as an investor, if you want to sell your property, you can sell it much faster for full price by creating a seller finance note and selling that. And then those notes are sellable in the marketplace as well. And one of the things I'm going to go through too, and over the next few when we're together, is I'm going to talk about Dodd-Frank and the SAFE Act as well, and how that applies to what we do on the performing side of the business.
Oh yeah. Hey, do I have to do all the work myself, or are there companies that can help me with this process?
Oh, Mike, the great thing about that is that, yes, there are companies, there are component servicing companies, there are property preservation companies, and there are companies to do a workout. So if I bought a note, Mike, and here's typically what that looks like. So you live in a house that's you owe $140,000 on. You hadn't made a payment in a couple of years, and I buy the note on that. So the property's only worth about $80,000. So if I buy that note for $25,000 from the hedge fund, then I have a tremendous opportunity there to make a profit. And I've created myself an REO property that I can work with and that I can resell or keep as a rental. But again, remember, it's better to be the bank than the landlord.
Yep. Hey, Joe, we're really thrilled that you're coming Tuesday the 30th, and then we're having a private lunch with you on Thursday the 2nd, and then the all-day class on the 4th of October.
Right.
But right now I've got to take off. I'm in the hard end of the real estate business, not the simple note end. So I've got to go out and see some contractors doing painting for me. I've got to see some landscape guys that are doing two big projects for me.
Good.
And then I've got to meet up with a tenant or two. And my daughter Victoria, who will be there also, she's a real estate investor in training. And
Very good.
You won't mind, I'd like her to finish this. Yes?
Sounds good.
Okay, here she is, Victoria Herney.
Thanks, Mike. I'll see you Tuesday.
Very good, Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Victoria.
How are you? I'm just going to finish up with a couple, I guess, more basic questions because I'm a beginner and I'm really interested in the note business, but I don't know a lot about it.
Sure.
So I wanted to start by asking who would be a good candidate for this business? Who should be getting started with this?
Victoria, I get that question every time I work with a real estate investment group like your dad's. And anybody that is an investor, anybody that is a realtor, anybody that is a mortgage broker, anybody that is interested in any type of real estate should know this. About 40% of our students, our note school students, they were in the REO business. So with that, they bought properties that had been foreclosed on by the banks and did very well with that. Well, the REO properties have gone away. So The simple fact is that if you're a realtor, you need, or an investor, you need inventory. If you're a realtor, you need to be able to help your client, give them some alternatives to for the buyers when they're looking for financing. And number three, if you can never have enough information when you're an investor. So anybody that has anything to do with real estate investing should be doing this.
Wow, that
Yeah.
sounds great. How much time per week does this usually take to, handle or manage?
Most of our students we've got some students that, are buying a couple of hundred non-performing notes a year and turning those over. Our average student, though, spends about 5 to 7 hours a week. And I always say that you can make a great living on a part-time basis in the note business, and that's about 5 to 7 hours a week. Or if you go into it full-time, you can make a phenomenal living. And I can tell you that every real estate investor in the U.S. could double or will double their income if they know about the note business. So about 5 to 7 hours a week. If you can find that much time, so it means don't watch TV, watch TV an hour less a day, you can do fine in the note business.
Okay. So that kind of explains also how much someone would make depending on how much time they're willing to spend doing it.
Well, one of the things that I'm going to show the group, Victoria, is that I'm going to show them how to make income. I mean, we all need income, but more specifically, how to retire tax-free by using and investing in notes with your self-directed Roth IRA or your self-directed 401k. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make that big, bold statement right now that I'm going to show the group how to turn a $100 bill into $100,000 or more tax-free in their Roth IRA. So that's a
Sounds
pretty
good to me.
statement. So you're going to hold me to that, right?
Yes, of course. What type of training do I need specifically for this?
Well, we at Note School, we're the #1 training company in the U.S. or training group for the note space. We've been in the note business, or been training the note business, Note School has, for about 12 years. But the thing that I am so proud of for everybody that is associated with Note School is that we really do the business every day as well. We own a company called Colonial Funding Group, and Colonial has been buying and selling mortgage notes for over 30 years. And, to put a dollar figure to that, we've bought almost $3 billion in mortgages and private mortgage notes over the last 30 or so years. So we've been in the business, we do it every day, and we're the best that there is out there.
Wow. So I think throughout this interview, I heard when you were speaking to my dad also, you've explained how Note School is different than any other note business, but is there anything else you'd like to reiterate about the difference between Note School specifically?
Yeah, like I said, we train at a very high level. We don't go in and throw out a bunch of fluff. We don't throw out stuff that doesn't work. We train at our 3-day training class, which everybody will have the opportunity to invest in if they choose to go forward in the note business. We train using case studies. And so we don't get up there and use the old death by PowerPoint that you see a lot of places do. We have real case studies, real deals that are going on right now. And we know that a group of adults cannot sit in a classroom for 3 days and stare at a PowerPoint presentation of just words on a screen. So we make it interactive. It's live. We train it at a high level. We also have a lot of fun. So it's an amazing thing that we've been able to put together. Our founder, Eddie Speed, has been able to put together, and we're very proud of the product that we put out there, and we totally stand behind everything that we do. So it's we have a lot of fun, but we train very in a very high level.
Well, I'm really looking forward to meeting you and to learning more about this. I've been to a lot of my dad's meetings, but I have to say this is one that I'm very, very excited to learn more about.
Well, Victoria, this is where the real estate market is going to be for the next 5 or 6 years. As I was telling your dad a few minutes ago, there's 9 billion not 9 billion, 9 million non-performing notes out there, and for all of the investors that are out there that are real investors, this is where the inventory is. This is where the money is going to be made over the next 5 or 6 years. So we've got a super opportunity for everybody that's in the real estate investment side of the business to really have a significant impact on our economy and on other people's lives. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on Tuesday evening, and then again on Saturday, October the 4th.
Yeah,
It's going to
me
be a good
too.
day. We're going to have a lot of fun.
I was actually planning on leaving the country for school, and I stayed specifically for this meeting, so I'm looking forward to it.
I feel very honored that you would do that. So
Good.
I'll deliver a lot of stuff to you, Victoria.
Good. I'm very excited. It was a pleasure meeting you, and I'm going to end the video now, but I look forward to seeing you Tuesday.
Okay, make sure that everybody knows the time and the date. We'll see you Tuesday evening, and have a great weekend.
Tuesday, September 30th, 6:30 to 9.
Absolutely. We'll see everybody on Tuesday, and have a great weekend, Victoria.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Bye.